Tonight we had our first soup of the season, creamy chicken noodle soup. Starting off the night before, I went ahead and got some bone-in skin-on chicken thighs, and I made my brine with the seasonings you see on the screen here. And I just put some hot water in there, and then I just filled it up the rest of the way with cold water. Put my chicken thighs in there, covered it with a lid, let it set in the refrigerator overnight, and then the next day I got a pan and put them on there and roasted them in the oven on 375. Then I went ahead and got started on my pasta. Here I have some semolina and some 00 flour that I'm just going to mix together, and then I added in my eggs and a little bit of salt. Then I got started on the long mixing process. So here I'm just using my bench scraper, and then I'm going to start kneading this dough. And I kneaded it for a little while until it was all smooth, and then I covered it with plastic wrap and put it in the refrigerator. Then it was time to make the noodles. I went ahead and cut the dough into small pieces and fed it into my machine, and I used this little cutter today to make the noodles. Then after about 30-45 minutes, my chicken was done, and I got my vegetables, which I had an onion, garlic, carrots, celery, some parsley, and some basil. Went ahead and washed those, and because I really didn't have the time, I went ahead and used my chopper, and I just cut everything into a small dice, and I put those aside in a bowl, and then I minced up my garlic and cut the basil and the parsley. And by this time, I went ahead and just removed the skin and the bones and the meat from the chicken, and I just shredded that up and separated it. And I took those pan drippings as well as the skin and bones and added that into a pot, filled it up with water, and then I seasoned it with what you see on the screen here. Then for my garden, I actually added some fresh sage and rosemary, and then I just stirred that around, and then I added about half of that parsley and basil mixture. And I just boil this and let this cook down for an hour or so, and then I just go ahead and remove all of the big stuff. Then I went ahead and got a can of cream of chicken and cream of mushroom soup, and I added those in, and then I stirred it around, checked the seasonings, and it was good. I went ahead and added in my vegetables, stirred those around, let those cook for a few minutes, and then I added in my chicken. Once I added in my chicken, I went ahead and added the rest of those parsley and basil, and then it was time to serve. I just put the noodles in the bowl and ladled the soup over the top and let it set for a few minutes, because those noodles are really just going to soak that up and cook fast. And there you have it. Hope you guys enjoy. If you try it, let me know.